Hi, hello, and howdy. I'm Mushmallow, and you are, well, you're you. Hello, you. Welcome back to Dark and Creepy Diamond Painting. I'm really glad you're hanging out with me today because today we're checking out a brand new to me company, Feelook Art. This is my very first experience with them, and we're going to go from sealed box all the way to finished canvas together. We'll unbox it, we'll kit it up, we'll work on it, and at the end, I'll let you know exactly what I think after actually spending time with the canvas and completing it entirely. Think of it like a one-stop shop all in one video. And here it is, ta-da! Feelook did send this kit to me for review, but as always, that doesn't buy my opinion. If you've been around here for a while, you already know I'm going to tell you exactly what I think. Good, bad, and anything in between. All right. Enough yippee yapping. Let's crack this thing open. Now, first thing to note is the packaging always makes a first impression. And thankfully, this one doesn't look like it got into a bar fight with the mail truck. So here's the box here. It is a cardboard-esque box, but it's like really the thick, sturdy kind, not that flimsy kind. We have a little icon situation here. We have the company's name and their logo here. When tiny sparks become masterpieces. And it says everything you need inside and details are on the back. Well, we will check that out. Then you can see here on the side, every diamond you place is a small step towards something extraordinary. Fantastic. And then on the other side, we have all kinds of stuff. Here's Feelook's socials. If you need a minute to scan a QR code or take a screenshot, snap up this contact information so you know where to go look and find some more information for yourself and maybe even do a little shopping. And the time has come to reveal. This is the canvas that I received, Candlelight and Roses, and it's relevant information. It does let you know the whole entire canvas size is 58 by 72, but the drill field is 50 by 64. Diamond shape is round. I really appreciate that they let us know what the drill field size is, as well as the entire fabric. So we know that we don't have to measure because they've already done that for us to see, you know, where the drill field is and stuff. I'm kind of a stickler about that. Well, they already answered that question for us. And on the back, you get some general diamond painting information. I'll turn it sideways so we can actually look. Here, instructions on how to diamond paint, complete with pictures, and we get pictures of everything we should find in the contents, and we get some little friendly warnings here, and some information about contacting Feelook, where they're located, and the like. So fantastic. Another thing I liked about the packaging, besides its durability, is that it has these tabs here. I will tell you it did have a plastic cover, like vacuum sealed plastic situation over it, and I did remove that for ease of the video, so it was super extra protected. And then this box was in another box, so we had lots of protection here. And it opens up like this. Love that presentation here. And it says, when tiny sparkles become masterpieces, and voila, here is our canvas. So we'll go ahead and take this out. So not only was it plastic wrapped, and now it's in this like sturdy cardboard box, complete with secure little flap doohickeys here. It also has your canvas in a dust sleeve. So very nice. And it looks like under that we have some contents here to look at. Let me get rid of this big box. Honestly, that has to be the nicest shipping box I think I've ever seen. I'm just saying. And here are the contents of the box, minus the box in the way, so we can see what all we got. We got this little pamphlet here, and you can sign it if you want. It's a little signature line. That's kind of cool. And then instructions on how to diamond paint and what's inside, and some tips and tricks if you need to learn how to diamond paint, or maybe just a refresher or some little tips and tricks. And then for your records, you can put your start date and your completion date, and their socials are listed here again. They'd love for you to share your finished works with them on their socials. It's QR code and all of their social handles. That's nice. And then we have this little pamphlet here, folds out, and ta-da! It is a logbook sticker here on the front, and with all the details that were on the box, the name of the canvas, some more socials and QR codes. They're very socially. And then we have a sticker sheet with what appear to be a pretty decent size sticker. Means that they'll probably fit on most containers, if not all containers, which is nice. So we do have sticker sheet and a bunch of extras if we need it. And it lets us know its order number, symbol, and the DMC. Take a look here so we can see some of the symbols. I do see some numbers and some letters, and then some other symbols. I see some dark on dark, which we'll look at on the canvas, but it's a little nerve-wracking. A little bit. We'll take a look and see how it looks on the canvas. No symbols that are ultra crazy, though I don't believe I've seen this triple circle shield type situation. Almost looks like the radioactive symbol a little bit. I've seen this one a very few times, the sideways A type of symbol, but everything else looks relatively familiar. Oh, see, there's the 3 circles here. I would be a little concerned that I might get confused if I'm not paying good enough attention there. So we do have some of those pesky corner ones. I see one corner. Do we have other colors that are the corner ones, or just the one? Because if it's just the one, it's all good. It's just the one. Okay, we can live with that. We can live with that. Another something that might be concerning, kind of jumping out at me. That's an interesting, the kind of cockeyed lowercase e type of situation. Don't think I've seen that. But we do have a circle within a square type of thing. And I did notice that down here as well, but they look different enough to, I don't think we'll get too confused. It looks more similar to this star in a circle and a square, if anything else. But just some things I'm noticing that we'll have to look out for when we look at the canvas and the legend. And then this is really cool. It has this holographic like trading card. And it does say Candlelight and Roses, and the artist is Tabz Jones. So it lets you know that. And then on the back, it says it's a Feelook Starlight Collector's card. There is a little scratchy thing here and a QR code. I don't know anything about the scratchiness, what that is for, if it's a message or a code or a discount, or don't know, but it's there. We'll find out. And yeah, this is the canvas image that we got, and this is kind of cool because I think I'd like a binder for this kind of thing. I think that would be pretty cool to put these cards in a binder. And the holographic nature, you can see it, look, and I'm moving it around. Pretty fancy. Just so you know, I did scratch the back of this card just to find out what was going on with it, and it did appear to be a discount code. For me, it was a 10% off. I don't know if there are different variations, what all prizes could be under that scratchy, or if it's all just a 10% discount code. Don't know. That is something I will try to find out and pin in a comment if I locate that information. But how cool, we get a 10% discount on our next purchase. I'm not mad about that. So here, that was everything that came in the outer initial packaging. Very nice. I like the sticker sheet booklet situation and logbook stuff. I love this trading card idea, and we get a little discount code to boot. And man, that holographic, that's just beautiful. And then this nice little information packet if you're new to diamond painting. But let's take a look at the main event. All right, let's get into this dust cover. This does feel like a nice, good quality, thicker one. It doesn't just, it's not the chintzy thin kind that just kind of falls apart when you touch it. So that's nice. We'll be keeping that. And then looks like we're gonna unroll our canvas this away here. Oh, oh my, oh my, my. This is a big one. It's a pretty sizable one. Now what I'm pulling out down here is a package of drills, or drill sleeve, and a nice sealed little toolkit, and it's a fat one, so I'm excited to see what's inside there. But here's our canvas, you guys. It's big. Now the first thing I'm noticing is, boy, this canvas wants to hold its curl. So what we'll do is we'll lay it sideways and kind of weigh it down with some stuff and some things here while we take a look-see at everything there is to look-see. This is pretty big. I know 50 by 64. I had that in my mind. I've done multiple canvases of that size. For some reason, this just seems bigger than that. But here it is. Now, details about it. We've got the Feelook Art at the top, and it identifies what the company is. Now, this is like a softer brush back feel canvas on the back. Scalloped poked edges. I'm trying to get it visible for you guys. Scalloped and poked edges there. But it is a bit stiffer. It's a stiffer, it's not the real flimsy, totally fabric canvas. I suspect there's some, like, you know, plasticky stuff in there, and that's also why it's kind of holding its curl. I do see on here at the bottom, we've got the socials again, which you can see right there, and how to contact them. And then we also have the information about the canvas, a thumbnail picture, and, you know, the sizes of everything, the name of the canvas. They didn't, oh, they did. They did also include the credit for the artist, Tabz Jones at Feelook Art, which is nice. And then down here, it's telling us some little words that I can't see from that far away. Again, repeats Feelook Art and Tabz Jones, Candlelight Roses, original artist Tabz Jones, licensed by Grateful Licensing Group, copyright Tabz Jones, usage rights here. So if you are very concerned with your licensing information, it's all right there in great detail, greater detail than I think I've ever seen any shop or company provide. So that is crazy good for those of you who are into the licensing information. These are licensed canvases. I'm moving this way. You can see it. I don't need to pull it up to the screen for you. This is a pretty sizable, huge table here. And you can see everything on here. I do, again, see some dark on darks. This dark, you know, kind of, I know what I want to call it, but for family-friendly purposes, I will just call it a circle and a circle. Here, that's a little bit dark on dark. The heart's a bit dark on dark. So we're going to take a look. I see some light on light a little bit here. Those always make me nervous, but they could look vastly different on the canvas. But there is a tabley labely situation on the bottom right of the canvas, and then there is another one on the top left of the canvas. See how big that is? Look at that. It's huge. I think people with vision issues will not be concerned about being able to read this. This is pretty sizable and clear printed. Very nice. I want to look at some of this stuff here before we take a deep dive into the canvas. So let's see what our toolkit is. What is in this fat sack here? Oh yeah, let's see. Let's open her up and start pulling out things. First thing that came out is this diamond painting pen. Look at that. It's a twisty. So this is telling me that this is meant for wax. I don't know if you could use it with putty. One might be able to try. I might be the one to try. I'm seeing something in the tip there, but I don't know what it is because I have never used this. So that might be the pusher mechanism situation. But this is a screw top type of pen where you put in your wax. Is there wax already? Is it preloaded? Let us... Oh, it's getting harder to screw as I'm screwing it, but jokes aplenty. Oh! Something popped out the end. I was screwing it here, and this happened. We had a little explosion at the tip, and it is preloaded with what feels like, yep, diamond painting wax already, my friends. So be careful if you're exploring this. You might accidentally kind of prematurely expel some of the wax there, like I just did. My bad. That was wasteful. It does have a pretty big tip on it, big round thick kind of tip. I'm not sure that that's going to be my favorite situation because I don't want it to shove drills, and the diamond painting wax is not like my favorite thing. But if you're new to diamond painting and you know, this is one of your first kits or your very first kit, this is so nice. This pen is really nice. It's an innovative kind of pen, not the normal little straw sticks we get. It's innovative, it's nice, it's preloaded with some wax, it's pretty. It's a little bit thicker, not too thick, but a little bit to feel better in the hand, and it comes ready to go. That's really, really nice. That is nice. What else is in here? We have some holographic stickers, so if you need some extra stickers for kitting up or some other project, you got some extras right there. I just don't want to poke myself in case there's something pokey in here. What are you? Okay, it feels putty-y, and it's shaped a lot like that pen that we got, but it's white and not red, so I don't know if this is putty or wax. We'll investigate what the package says here in a second, kind of see if we can't match this up to what's included. But if that's putty, now you're talking my speed. We do get some tweezers. We got some angled neck bent tweezers. They are, in fact, murder tweezers. Be very careful. Sharp, pointy edges. Be careful. This is nice that it's angled, though. I really like that. That's going to make things handy for moving drills around, or if you drop one on the canvas and a sticky part, picking it up and moving it where it needs to go. Nice, nice, durable, thick, strong feeling tweezers. We get a set of baggies for kitting up if you want to kit up that way, or use them for something else if you want. Two sets of baggies here. All right, can't be mad about that. How many colors did we get in here? 46. Hopefully there would be 46 baggies in there. We get two little pretty generic boats of long neck pouring life. I do like those for pouring and stuff. Confetti. And that is what is in the package. Now the package says that there should be 2 diamond painting trays. Check. A diamond painting applicator pen. Check. Then it says 6 extra pin tips in various shapes. Stand by. I was just checking the packaging to make sure that we didn't miss anything, because that was not included. This is completely it's completely empty. See, I mean, there's nothing hiding in there. Certainly not 6 pin tips. So we did not get the 6 extra pin tips of various shapes. I wonder if it's because we got this kind of pen. If maybe it came with the more generic straw type pen that come with most kits, it would have come with those plastic extra tips to put in the end, maybe. It says 1 rounded tip for trays. A rounded tip for trays. I don't see anything that I would describe as a rounded tip for trays. So, confusion there. 2 wax pads in a protective case, but we got these, I think we got 3 actually of these, and I guess they are wax even though they're white, not red like we typically see and like what's already preloaded here. And this felt more putty-y to me, but you know, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's a little discrepancy, but I'm not mad about it. And then a pair of quality tweezers, check. 60 small resealable storage bags. We're not counting them. We'll trust them. Check. And then the holographic sheets here. Check. So what I'm going to guess here from what I'm reading on here and what I'm seeing here is that this is maybe a bag from maybe prior to this pen and these type of waxy putty things, and maybe even something to do with the trays. They were giving different sort of toolkits, and they've updated the toolkit, just not the packaging yet, maybe. But yeah, no, I'm not mad. It's not like I can use any other tips in this pen they provided me anyway, so I'm not missing them. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, very nice starting materials. I would say this is more of like a deluxe luxury type of setup because of all the good things we got. Let me get this put away and we'll start looking at the drills and canvas. I turn the light on so we can see a little clearer. Here is our bag of drills. They come in train bags. Looks to be the big ones, not the baby ones, which if I'm going to get some drills in a train situation, I want it to be these bigger, fatter ones. Sorry about the crinkle. I mean, you're a diamond painter. Gotta get used to that. And here's our bags. They're all together. They're nice, bigger. Look at that. They're bigger baggies, so they can hold a good amount, and they're all pretty uniform, it looks like. Not a bunch of different sizes and shapes. Like a one uniform standard bag. Do they come, is it one long train, or are we separate? We are separate, which is nice. Going to be nice for kitting up. Let's take a look at some of our colors here, beiges and whites. Now, I was looking at the tabley labely situation, and I didn't see anything that clearly indicated special drills in this canvas, so I don't know. We'll have to look as we kind of go over the color palette here. We have some unexpected colors and some expected ones. Darker, some grays, blues, browns, some kind of a little bit lavender or grayish colors in there too. Looks like 939 is going to be one of our best friends during this kit situation. Lots of bags of that. And similar colors. We got some blues, grays, peaches or orange, if you will. Let's see. Browns, blues. Some 823 is going to be a popular one in this kit. And some peaches. Some, ooh, nice blood and rose red situation there. Love to see it. Some of these darker gothic colors like maroon coming through. We do have this orange, which is maybe background or something. Some green, some kind of moldy greens, you know what I mean? It's a little bit like moldy zombie green, in my opinion. I love that. We got some, we'll just call it light red. We're not calling it pink. We'll call it light red. Ooh, some dank green there. Some gray, decay gray. Love to see that. I did see some pus yellow in here, which is pretty cool. Like that. Blood red right there. We got some more red and dark blue. Here's 310. That's also going to be a predominant color. Multiple bags of that. And then a gray. Some more peaches and oranges here. So that's our color family schematic scheme, whatever you want to call it. Our color family, my friends. There it is. And I'm just going to set these aside. I'll spare you the crinkle. Hold on. So there were the drills in the color family. I didn't see anything that jumped out at me as special drills. So this is a kit, I believe, that does not have special drills. But now it is time for us to look at the canvas proper. I'm going to give you a zoopy sort of scrolling look at it from top to bottom, since my space doesn't allow me to display it, you know, in its proper orientation in full, so that you can get a full picture of what this canvas looks like in its proper orientation. If you hear my voice getting further away, it's because this canvas is so big and I'm stepping away so you can see it. Let's take a look at some things. Cover sheet. Oh, we got a medium one here. I wouldn't call this the thickest I've ever felt, but it's not chintzy. It is good quality, standard medium thickness. We got some good tack on the canvas. I really hate sticking my finger on that, but because it can get your finger oils on there and kind of weaken the glue and spread and weaken around it. But I want you guys to be able to know that it's definitely got some stick. What I am noticing is, look, so here's your drill field. It's got a little thin border around the edge. It doesn't just go straight to the edge of the canvas. It gives you like this courtesy border. Never have I ever seen that on a canvas that I've possessed. I'm not saying it's not out there. I've never seen that before. That's really awesome. Does it? And it keeps going. It's got the rest of the background of the art as a thin border around the edges. Not a super thick one, a nice thin one. And it seems to kind of, and it does go with the pattern. It doesn't misalign or isn't something funky. It won't break the vision of the canvas. It's what's supposed to be there. If the canvas were to continue on, you're seeing a sliver of what would have continued on. Does that make sense? That's really, really cool. Let's take a look here at our table-y label one more time. Concerned a little about something like that. Maybe that. A little bit of dark on dark there. Some I saw some light on lighter. I mean, it has black lettering, so it should be okay, but they're skinny and it's on a light space. We'll see. This one I'm a little concerned about. The pill I'm a little concerned about there. This one I'm at light on light, thin lines. I'm really kind of concerned about that one as well, but we'll take a look and see. But that's the symbols and the clarity on the table label. Now we're going to look at the canvas itself and see, are we printed clear? Look at that. Nice, big, clear. Now we're seeing some of those dark on darks that I was concerned about, and this is what I'm talking about. It might be concerning on the sticker sheet or even on the table on the side, but once you look at the canvas, this is not concerning. This is not concerning at all. My fears were unfounded, thankfully. There is the kind of dark O circle situation and a heart, but that's very different. It looks very distinguishable from each other. Love to see it. Let me see if we can find some of those light on light that I was concerned about. There's some of the light on light I was concerned about, but because of the thin nature of the black symbol on it, but it is very distinct and clear. Oh, so relieved. Much relief. Yes, my friends. And if you're seeing what I'm seeing as well, I'm seeing quite a bit of color blocking and line blocking. This is a circle canvas, so it looks like they put the space where your round drill goes is in a square, so you place it and the color around it, so the gaps in between the round drills will show the color background of the canvas and make it look more cohesive, instead of like putting your drills down and seeing big white gaps. If there's something misaligned, you won't see that. It'll be the color that it's supposed to be behind it. So very forgiving, especially for newer diamond painters, which is great. So yeah, and here's the image. We've got like a gothic background here, and she has a hood similar to my little channel icon situation, which is pretty cool. And we got a light background with candle here. We got a red candle back here. I'm assuming this is a full moon. Looks like She might be a little sad, maybe in mourning. We got some potentially tears right here, some hair hanging down. She's got a little ornate lace detail on the edge of her cowl or hood, or however you want to say that. Categorize it, whatever. Then we've got flowers at the bottom. Flowers are always concerning to me because they are so hard to do and come out looking good. These are pretty big. I'm seeing some color differences in here, some line blocking and stuff. I think to bring out some detail, I'll be interested in seeing how these roses turn out. Those can be really hit and miss, so can leaves. And there are leaves here for the roses. And then we've got, you know, her neck coming down to her chesticle area, her shoulder. And it looks like maybe a wrought iron gate type of fence situation. I'm seeing the metal poles in between the flowers. It looks like the roses are growing around it, or that could be a trick of the eye. I think it's a trick of the eye. I think what I'm looking at is the candlestick. See the candlestick happening right here. So a pretty simple, basic image. I will say that. The lips, we'll have to see how they turn out. I'm a little nervous about lips. And we'll see the eyes. I like that the eyes are kind of closed and lashes are implied here instead of making spider leg lashes. We do have an eyebrow here. We'll have to see how that turns out. Some of the more delicate, the nose, if it's defined. Some of the more delicate, intricate features, like the roses, some of the facial features, are what I'm really going to be looking at. Some of this lace detail. I want to see how clear that comes out and how well it looks. But guys, this is what we're going to be looking at. Now I'm going to go ahead and kit this up. While I'm kitting up, I'm going to give you some facts about Feelook. The kit up is going to be time lapse and sped up, so it's not going to be a long drawn out process, I promise. But I want to tell you a little bit more about this company, what I've learned from their website, and you know, maybe there'll be something in there that's important to know and important for you and your purchasing decisions. So yeah, let's get this kitted up, shall we? So here's some information about Feelook Art. A CEO statement says, "We don't just offer products, we create meaningful experiences." The company was established in 1998, brand philosophy developed in 2019. They launched the brand in 2021 and began global expansion in 2024. Let's talk about the glue. It says, quote, "Adhesive you can trust, carefully engineered to be strong across the entire canvas to ensure drills stay put." They claim it has consistent adhesive with reliable grip across the entire canvas. They go on to say that their canvases are 260 grams versus the 100-gram canvases, so it's thicker and sturdier and anti-warping. There's nano or anti-wrinkle weave into it to keep the wrinkles at bay. There's a pearlescent coating for the premium look to the canvas. It has an anti-light through design to keep colors true and images clear. It also has scalloped edges for that gentle feel and look, crisp symbols for high contrast and easy, accurate placement. They go on to state they have premium diamond drills with access to over 5,000 shades. They're 5th generation drills at 2.8 millimeters with 24 facets to present you with 40% more light reflection. They further go on to claim that their drills are 0.005 grams, which is supposed to be 28% more dense than the industry standard, and that they provide 30% extra drills in every kit. And additionally, with regards to the glue, they say that it is a safe glue that is odorless and skin safe. The artist for this particular piece is Tabz Jones, who is a fantasy commercial artist and has a distinctive style that's evolved through years of creative exploration and professional design experience. She has nearly 2 decades in commercial graphic design and combines digital and traditional artistic techniques to create visually captivating artwork filled with rich colors, textures, and imagination. She's deeply inspired by fantasy, symbolism, and emotional storytelling. And it says that Tab's work often explores dramatic atmospheres, expressive characters, and dreamlike worlds. As you can see, their listings do include some vital details. They use resin drills, full drill coverage. It tells the size of the canvas, how many colors. This particular kit had 46. And for us nerds, they do include a total drill count. Now we're going to take a look at the listing for this particular piece from the Feelook website. Here's the initial screenshot of the canvas artwork. So on the right is the original artwork and on the left is the render. So what it looks like as a diamond painting canvas. So you can compare the art versus the end result as it's given to us on the website. And here we see a screenshot from the website that depicts everything that comes included with every one of their kits. And to me, it looks pretty accurate. Looks like what I received in my kit, as you saw earlier in the video. But it's nice to be able to see everything laid out and explained like that and described and labeled so you know exactly what comes in every kit. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm about done kitting up, so let's take a look at what this looks like all kitted up and ready to get going. Okay, and here is our kit all kitted up. Some observations that I made. No static. Hooray! We love that. There was no static. If you're curious, the drill baggies here, as you can see, 25 is like number 25 on the table. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 25. And it's DMC 840, and it has the canvas serial number. Each baggie has its own designation, so you don't get confused while you're kitting up. That is very nice. I liked that feature. The stickers fit on here great. Normally I would or have to cut off the numbers. I don't really use the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 number order on the side. That's a me thing. Normally I would cut those off, but I want to show you guys everything as presented to us. So I didn't cut it off, but didn't need to either because the stickers fit excellent with the numbers on there anyway. So that's no big deal. Something I did notice that was a little unusual was that the drills, when you kit up, are in DMC order, right? Except for these first 3 were out of order. The kit started with 3713, 3854, and 3855, and I kind of expected maybe they'd be specials or something, but they don't appear to be. And then it starts with the rest of the DMC, 159, 310, 311, 321, 353, and so on. So I'm not sure why those 3 were placed first. And it's that way on the table on the canvas also, which was kind of strange to me. Why did you pluck these from the DMC orderly fashion and place them at the front end? Confusion. Another thing that I did notice was that the kit does have letters and numbers and stuff, but they aren't like in that kind of order either. So I'm going to have to switch the kit around to make sense for me so that I have like all the numbers together, all the letters together, similar symbols together, etc. Because right now it's like check mark 2, 3%, you know, some symbols, B, lowercase t, arrow, E, you know, very out of order where there is some order here to be had. That was just another observation. It's not a deal breaker or anything, but just FYI. And then one other thing that I noticed that kind of annoys me a little bit, not the end of the world, but things like this. There's the, you know, if you think about it, they give us, companies generally give us between 10 and 30% extra drills. So we're only going to maybe use potentially like a third of these, right? Is this unnecessary? You know what I mean? This seems a bit unnecessary. Is this, the placement of maybe a third of these, going to make or break the kit that we're doing? I don't think it's going to make it. You know what I mean? It's not going to break it, but it certainly isn't going to make it. How about this one? Assuming that we're only going to use about a third of these. do we need a dozen of this color? Is that going to make the canvas really work? You know, if they weren't there, is it going to break the canvas results? Same thing with like this one. I would say that there's like maybe somewhere between 7 and 10 colors like that, where there's so few in there that it's like, was that really necessary? I don't know if that's, maybe companies maybe do that to say we have 40 plus colors, or, you know, to kind of pad the number of colors that are in a kit, because I just really, it would be a hard sell to get me to understand why, you know, a third of these needed to be in the kit, like to make the, but we won't know anything really beyond our kind of guesses and first impressions until we get the kit done. So through the magic of editing, I am going to make this look a little bit more orderly and presentable. Much better. This is in my brain's logical order. So there's really nothing left to do but the canvas. And through the magic of me simply being the world's fastest diamond painter, I'm going to complete this instantaneously for you. It's going to be magic. Ready? Watch. Ta-da! And here she is completed, my friends. Let's take a look at her oriented correctly for a brief moment, and then I'm going to have to put her back sideways so we can talk. But here she is and finished. We'll do a little kind of scrolly situation. Here's the bottom with the roses. There it is. Let's dissect it a little bit and see what we think and what observations we have. So 43 hours and 40 minutes and one canvas later, what do I think? I did not expect this canvas to win me over the way that it did. When I first opened the box, I remember looking at the $60 price tag and thinking, all right, Feelook, you've set the bar pretty freaking high. You'd better impress me. I wouldn't say that I expected this to be bad by any means, but I was really kind of skeptical. By the time I finished, I was genuinely surprised. And honestly, I love being surprised like that. Where my skepticism came in is when I was looking at the site and looking at the render versus the art. I was worried about like the hair being line blocky and maybe looking too pixelated. The lace detailing here, the same thing. I was wondering how they were going to make her face, her lips kind of come out. These tears really concerned me. The eyebrow was making me nervous. Definitely the flowers. I had a bunch of nervous energy about it because it went from, you know, the original art to a pixelated view of that original art, and I was scared, especially for the $60 price tag. But thankfully, pleasantly surprised, and I hope that you are too. And now we're going to break this down and kind of talk about it. Let's start with the artwork, because that's what hooked me in the first place. This is Candlelight and Roses by Tabz Jones. This is a licensed piece, and I think Feelook absolutely did the artwork justice. The face has stayed soft and expressive over here. The roses turned out really well defined. I think they did a really great job with the roses. Flowers and faces are the two like hardest things, in my opinion, to come out in a canvas. Usually that's where it makes or breaks a canvas, and they did both of these very well. The candlelight still has a glow effect. The moon is still soft, maybe has a little bit of an eerie feel, and none of it really got muddy or lost in the rendering. I immediately recognized the original artwork, and to me, that's exactly what a good rendering should do. Now, let's talk about the canvas and materials itself. As we just heard, Feelook does advertise a more premium canvas, and I think that's a fair description. It definitely leans toward like a softer side compared to a lot of other canvases that I've worked on. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still feel a bit of that You know, hear it? Scritchy, scratchy, plasticky, I don't know, feel or coating. It's kind of slightly plasticky on here. The finish that most poured glue canvases do have, but overall it feels softer than average in terms of it is very malleable. You can move it around and bend it and roll it just fine. I appreciated that it was so flexible, but also kind of firm at the same time, if that makes sense. It wasn't just like floppy, totally floppy like a dead fish. Another thing that I loved that might kind of be like a small detail, doesn't sound like it's a big deal until you actually see it, is the border around the drill field. Let me show you. We did look at it in the unboxing, but I want to show you with drills on the canvas. You can hardly notice it, but here it is. There's this edge where the art continues past the drills just a little bit, and it's not at all sticky. You don't put drills there. The drills won't accidentally stick there, and it continues the art that was on the canvas. It kind of just gives you that little break instead of going harshly to the white border edges. It gives that little bit of grace there. It's simply a continuation of the artwork before it transitions into the legend and border. It is a tiny detail, but I think it makes the whole canvas feel much more polished while you're working on it and when you look at it when it's done, because you don't see, you know, the bloop, 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 bloop of the drills. You don't see where the drills start and the art ends. Does that make sense? You can't. It kind of gives you that little bit, if you maybe your starting drills on the edge are a little wonky, maybe one sticks out further than the others or whatever, but you can't notice it because of that little border that they give you that blends everything in together. It blends like the drills into the canvas border, if that makes any sense. I honestly wish more companies would do this, even if it's just the ribbon thin, tiny little edge border. Is that a drill? Nope, that's part of the art. A tiny little edge border like this. It doesn't have to be huge, you know, and cover a big space. Just even this little courtesy ribbon here, this little courtesy 1/4 inch is all I ask. I would love to see more companies and shops doing that with canvases. Now, let's talk about what I call the haunted corners. Apparently, this canvas had no interest in forgetting that it spent its early life rolled up. And you can see here what I mean. You can see these are, the corners are curling up right here. You can see it right here. All 4 corners, baby. They down here and up here, they are trying to curl. Even the full bottom and top edges, really, of the canvas are not laying flat. They're sticking up, trying to curl back into its fetal position, if you will. No matter what I did, flatten it, let it relax, tape it down, sweet talk it, threaten it, these short ends just kept looking back at me and saying, nah, we're curling today. Now, was this the worst curling experience I've ever had with a canvas? Not even remotely. I have absolutely definitely worked on worse canvases that were more resistant to flattening out. But it was persistent enough that my forearm kept catching this corner down here and causing havoc while I was trying to work on the canvas. By the end of this project, that corner and I had developed like a very personal relationship. The good news is it's a pretty easy fix. Just tape the short ends like here, tape these down, or I would tape the corners down. That's what I would do if you can onto your workspace, just to hold these bad boys down and out of the way so it's not battling your forearm like it did mine. Once I decided to tape the edges down and the corners down, I didn't have any more problems. I just think it's worth mentioning because I did notice it from beginning and obviously to the end, it's still trying to curl up. Now let's move on to the symbols. Feelook talks about having crisp, easy to read symbols. And honestly, I don't have anything negative to say there. The symbols were excellent, and even the darker sections stayed very easy to read and clear. I never found myself playing the old game of, is this an O or a Q? Is this a B or an 8 or anything like that? Or maybe I didn't have any experiences where anything was fuzzy or hazy, like somebody had sneezed on the canvas. Everything was crisp, clear, very legible, and I super appreciated that. Because after staring at this canvas for 44 hours, that's saying something, that I could still read the symbols clearly. Now let's talk about the adhesive. This adhesive has commitment issues, or maybe the opposite. Once a drill landed, the adhesive basically latched onto it and said, congratulations, now you live here forever. It has some serious grip. In fact, sometimes I might argue it was a little too much, if you can believe it. I did have some experiences where if I dropped or placed a drill like in the wrong place and I wanted to just use my pen and nudge it over into the right spot, just oops, I was looking at the TV, not the canvas, and I kind of half placed it. Let me just shove it over into its spot. It would move, but then every now and again it wanted to like creep back to where I had originally dropped it. Almost a little rubbery feeling. You know what I mean? What came to mind was like rubber cement in a way, where it was tacky and it had some give and some cush, very sticky, and but it had that like bounce back. So you'd push a drill into place and it would like slowly kind of just, nope, I want to go where you put me. And I'm like, nope, I want you where you belong. And it would be like, nope, I'm going to go back. I did struggle with that a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily consider that a negative. If anything, it tells me that the adhesive is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing, which is gripping onto those drills and not letting them go. There was no popping, nothing falling off. It really wanted to take your drill and hold it in place, and that's what we want from the glue on our canvases, right? So I'd much rather have adhesive that's a little over enthusiastic, if you will, than spend 44 hours chasing popping drills around my desk. So for me, the adhesive gets a thumbs up. Now let's talk about the actual drills and drill quality. Overall, I was really very impressed. Feelook uses resin drills, and I do think that makes a difference. In my experience, resin drills tend to have a little more sparkle, a little more shine, if you will, and they're a bit richer looking in color overall than acrylic drills. And I think that this finished piece is proof of that. I'm going to insert a picture somewhere around here that I took of sundown holding the canvas up for me in the living room, and you will see the light sparkling and bouncing off of that canvas, and it makes it look like, there's a whole bunch of glitter or shimmer. And let me tell you, you can see here, there's no patches of white drills sneezed through here, but in the example image of when he was holding it up for me to look at a viewing distance, it looks like there are white drills intentionally placed on the canvas to make it look like it's sparkling, but it's not. You can see here, that's not the case. It was literally just these resin drills and their multi-facets that were catching the light and blinking it back at my face. And it was super, super sparkly. In fact, let's see if we can make it kind of happen here. I don't know if the camera will let us, but I mean, look, yeah, you can kind of see the light moving over. Sorry, it might get a little wobbly, but just look at that reflect. Wow. I mean, look at that. That is insane how it reflects the light blindingly like that. You can see the sparkle go across like a wave. See that at the bottom? Wow. I mean, really, really sparkly. And see now, even now you can kind of see, at least I see it in the viewfinder, it looks like there's specks of white blingy drills up here. but there's not. See? It's not. It's, oh, and there's some more. It makes it almost look like white bling has been put in there. But it's literally just the way the light's hitting the drill. How crazy is that? Now you can see it down here in the dark too. It looks like they sneezed a bunch of white drills on there. But we know, we've looked at the canvas without the light shining directly on it, and you can see no crazy white drills. And now it looks like there is. Now it looks like there's not. That's how seriously reflective and blingy this canvas turned out to be. Trash drills were minimal throughout the project, and overall, I thought the drills themselves, really performed well, as we just saw. One thing that some of you may notice is that there are no special drills in this kit. There's no ABs, no crystals, no fairy dust, no magical unicorn glitter, nothing. It's just good quality resin drills. And honestly, I've never once found myself wishing that there were special drills on this canvas. The rendering is strong enough on its own, and with those resin drills being sparkly enough on their own, I just don't think that this artwork needed special drills. Sometimes less really is more, and I think Feelook made the right call here. Now let's talk about something that repeatedly activated my survival instincts: the drill quantity. Feelook states on their website that they include 30% extra drills with every kit. But based on my experience, I'm not convinced that that was actually the case, at least not with the kit I received. Now, before anybody panics, I did not run out of drills. I finished the canvas without needing replacements, but I had several moments during this project that I affectionately refer to as butt pucker moments. You know the ones. That's where you're working along, everything's going great, and then you pick up your container for that high volume color, and then you look at the canvas, you look back at the container, you look back at the canvas, you look what got poured into the tray, you poured the whole thing in there, and you're looking at your tray like, oh no. Suddenly your whole body tenses because you're thinking, there's absolutely no way I'm going to run out of 939 with 3 sections left to go. And yet, I'm looking at the tray like, oh no, uh-oh. And I pucker up. I had several moments like that. And actually, I'll show you my leftover drills so you can judge for yourselves. Okay, so 310, very predominant throughout the kit, right? In fact, I had so many that it took a big and a little. This is all that's left of my 310s. So you can see, I don't know how best to show you how you can see, but here you go. I mean, that's all that was left out of all of these being, jam-packed full. These 2 containers were jam-packed. And this is it. I don't feel like this is 30% extra. I don't feel like this is 30% of what I used. Does this look like 30% more? Knowing that these 2 containers were totally full and this is all that's left, does that look like an extra 30% to you? It does not to me. Another color I had that issue with was another really predominant color, 939. It filled this to the brim to the point where, like, I almost couldn't close the top. And this is all that's left. I don't feel like this is 30% leftover drills. So, yeah. How about this one? This big container was completely jam-packed full as well. And this is all that's left. That's it. That is not 30%. There's no way that can be 30%. I got really, really scared and nervous, particularly with these 3 dominant colors in the canvas. I was so scared they were going to run out by the end. I was doing the whole butt pucker moment. So in the end, though, yes, there were enough drills to complete the canvas with a little bit of leftover. But it certainly didn't feel like there were 30% extra sitting in those containers, And personally, I'd rather finish a product with a nice, comfortable cushion than spend 40 hours wondering if I'm going to be emailing customer service later. So if I had one suggestion for Feelook in this department, it would be simply, can you please be a little more generous with those high volume colors? I would really appreciate it, and I'm sure everyone else would too, because nobody likes to be butt puckered for 40 hours. And while we're on the topic of suggestions, I would also suggest maybe doing something to or with or for the canvas or canvas materials to where it doesn't want to forever roll back in on itself, especially on the edges where our sleeves and our hands and our trays can catch. If there's a fix for that, that'd be really cool. And that would also go into my constructive criticism suggestion box, along with, please give us more drills, the 30% you promised. Okay, thanks. Let's move on to that toolkit. Now, that toolkit was overall perfectly fine. It had everything that someone would need to get started, but I want to talk about that twist pin. This one. Oh, we are excited here. It got excited before I was ready for it to. And but yeah, this pin right here. Bless its little heart. It tried. We tried. We really did. But this just isn't for me. The tip feels quite bulky. Let me show you. Look at how big that opening is. And yes, you're up in the camera, but even from far, that is a huge, bulky opening. Huge. For comparison's sake, let's look at a brass nib tip and a Forever Young tip. Steel tip. Let's see if I can get it at an angle where you can see. It's hard. It's dropping things. Oh, that's awesome. Love that. Okay. It's hard to kind of get a good field of view, but can you see how big that opening is compared to the other two tips? The brass nib that's pretty standard with any, pen, diamond painting pen, and a Forever Young steel tip pen. But do you see that big gaping opening? I'm surprised that this thing doesn't eat drills for breakfast. Another issue I had with this one, besides this big gaping opening at the top, and I don't know, the fact that diamond painting wax has never really been my jam, is the twisty. I mean, this thing, it has sharp edges, you know what I mean? And it really hurt me, and I actually had to pass it on to Sundown after a while because it just wants to turn infinitely, and it started hurting my finger pads. So I was like, Sundown, I need you to twist and turn because I want to test this pen, and I want to be thorough. And I don't know, somewhere in here it feels almost stuck. I don't know. It hurts. There's resistance, and these are sharp edges, and it just hurts to try to get a product that doesn't really work so good for me and most other people out of the tip that's a gaping crater. So, I like the idea. I appreciate that it's something other than the straw stick thing that we usually get with diamond painting kits, but this was not the answer for me. It could be for someone else. Definitely wasn't my jam for the reasons stated. And like I said, now I think that this twisty thing is like stuck or something. Just doesn't feel like it really wants to go. But you gotta twist forever and ever and ever. And yeah, I'm sorry, but it just got bent. I will say, to be fair, that is completely personal preference, though. Some of you may absolutely love a pen just like that, but for me, just give me a nice, maybe generic resin pen with a good single placer, and I'm a happy camper. Maybe like a 3D printed pen. I got this on Temu. I guess they must be super cheap to make because Temu sold it for like $3. Or, something generic resin pen like this. Those are usually pretty inexpensive as well. Give me something like this, and I will be much happier than that screw top force me to use wax with a crater in the tip pen thing. So while the toolkit itself was serviceable, I just don't think that the pen and I were destined to have, a long-term friendship or relationship of any kind. Now, let's talk about the value of everything. This canvas retails on their site for $60. And some of you immediately heard that number and went, "Excuse me? This is not a budget canvas." It's definitely entering premium territory on the price point. And I'll be honest, the price did make me a little skeptical. When I first opened the box, I remember thinking, all right, Feelook, you've got $60 worth of expectations writing on this. And for the first little while, I was waiting. I was waiting to see if something would make me go, yep, there's the $60 worth. Then somewhere along the way in the process, I stopped really thinking about the price and I stopped waiting to be impressed and just started enjoying the process of the project. And then when I placed the last drill and I picked this up and I took a step back, I had Sundown hold it up. My first thought was, well, I owe this canvas an apology because honestly, I totally underestimated it. Not because I thought it was going to be bad, but because I didn't think it was going to finish this beautifully. The rendering exceeded my expectations, as did the sparkle and the overall finished appearance, and I was genuinely surprised in the best possible way. So, do I think $60 is fair? Honestly, yes. Is it what I would consider inexpensive? No. For this canvas, with this rendering and this quality, these resin drills, and the finished result, I don't feel like I overpaid. And if you can catch a sale or use a discount code, I think the value just gets even better. So, would I recommend Feelook Art to you? Yeah, I actually would, especially if you're looking for licensed artwork with premium materials and a company that's producing some really beautiful finished results. This is going to be for you. For me, the biggest strengths were the rendering, the simple clarity, the resin drills, the sparkle that came from them, and the little thoughtful touches like extending the artwork beyond the drill field instead of just ending it at the harsh white border. My biggest critiques were the curling ends, that twisty pen of doom, and I'd really like to see more breathing room with those high volume drill counts. None of those things were total deal breakers for me, not even close. And at the end of the day, this canvas genuinely surprised me, and honestly, this is one of my favorite things a company can do. Because I went into this review cautiously optimistic and I came out of it impressed. And looking at her now, she's definitely creepy. She's really elegant. I'd consider her a little moody. She's exactly the kind of artwork that I want hanging on my wall. And really, that's the highest compliment I can give any diamond painting. So if you've worked on Feelook Art kits before, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear your experience compared to mine. If you enjoyed this review, I really appreciate it if you would give the video a thumbs up. And if you're here and you enjoy all things dark, creepy, and diamond painting, I'd love to have you join our little crypt crew over here by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the notification bell so you don't miss the next adventure. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today, and until the next video, stay naughty.